Hey friends, it's me, Shannon. I am going to be doing a new series. It's going to be me painting something or maybe me swatching, something to do, with painting, drawing, art. And at the same time, I thought I would tell you stories. I'm going to call this Artist Anecdotes. I have always wanted to write a memoir. I have some amazing stories. And I've always wanted to write a memoir. But I don't have the discipline to actually sit down and organize it into a meaningful manner. So I thought I would share some of my stories with you all while I am working on a painting or swatching colors. So I figured what better way to start than to tell the story of my 8th grade art project. So, let me set the scene for you a little bit. I was not a very well-behaved child. I was actually a very naughty child. And I spent time in and out of different group homes. And when I was in 8th grade, I lived in a group home about 2.5 hours away from my hometown. I'll tell other stories about this group home, but I actually really liked it there. It was very, very beneficial for me. But while I was there, I attended junior high at the local public junior high. So sometimes people who are in group homes are allowed to go to school in the community, and other times they have to go to school at the group home. But I was able to go to school in the local public school. And so in 8th grade, most people have all of your core classes, and then you usually have some type of exploratory classes like drama, art, maybe band, choir, things like that. And I was in art. I really loved art. And we were doing our pottery unit. Now, the prior year in 7th grade, I had created this really awesome head with wild hair in our pottery unit. And I had to leave that school abruptly. And because of that, my head never got fired, and my mom never picked it up, and so I don't know what actually ever happened to it. So I no longer have it, but this year I decided I was going to make something very unique. And when you're in a group home, oftentimes you have a roommate, and I happened to have a roommate that I really liked. We were pretty good friends. So I decided I was going to make a gift for her, right? Or at least that's what I told my art teacher. So I start making this really beautiful vase. Okay. I know some of you can see where this is going. It was really gorgeous, right? At the bottom, it was nice and round, and it had this skinny stand that came out of it, and then then bent back forward. So it was really beautiful vase. But out of the bowl at the bottom, there was also another little lip that came out, so that you could put just like one tiny little, bud in there. Now, I worked really hard on this vase for weeks, getting it just perfect. The perfect shape, the perfect height, making sure that everything fit together just perfectly. And I finally got it finished, and I got to the point where I was, decorating the outside of it and getting a lot of intricate details on this vase. And I loved doing pottery. Pottery was probably my favorite medium at the time. And so I had been working very hard on this. It's probably not a surprise to most of you that it wasn't actually a vase. We all know that. It was a bong. Come on. It was a bong. My teacher had no clue. I had completely convinced her that I was making a vase. And it was looking good. It was beautiful. I finally had finished it, and it was time for us to fire them. Unfortunately, while I was not very popular in junior high, as you can probably imagine, I might have been considered a part of the group that was, outcasts. But there were other groups that were not necessarily popular, but they were probably what would be considered like the stoners, if you could consider any group in junior high school a stoner group. But I was not a part of that group either. However, there was a kid that was in art who was a part of that group. Once my beautiful vase was done and ready to be fired, he was in a different class than me. And that walked into class one day and says, "Oh my God, who made the awesome bong?" Yeah, that happened. Like, come on, dude. Really? I had totally convinced her it was a vase. She had no idea it was a bong until Loudmouth walks in and screws it all up for me. So the next day, I go in to work on my piece, and I can't find it anywhere because the teacher had taken it and destroyed it. She destroyed it. Like, come on, seriously? She had to destroy it? She could have simply taken, part of it off and made me redo it so that it was an actual vase. You remove part of it and it makes it not functional as a bong, right? Needless to say, my project was ruined. I don't even remember if I had time to make anything else. But I do know that was the last year that I took art. And it was the last time that I created any pottery, at least to that extent. I've done pinch pots and small things since then. But it just kind of broke me from pottery. Like, my 7th grade project was ruined because I had been abruptly taken from my home and moved, and so nobody thought to care about, my property at school. And then in 8th grade, I had spent weeks on this project. Now, granted, yes, I was a child. I probably shouldn't have been making a bong. To have all of that just completely crushed and destroyed ruined me. It ruined me. That was the end of my desire for making pottery. Not that I haven't thought about going and taking a class on the wheel or whatever, but pottery's an expensive habit that I just can't take on right now. Not with all of the other projects that I have in my house. I'm an extreme creative, manifesting generator with ADHD. And that's just, I think, one more hobby, I'm making air quotes, than I can handle right now. But that is the story of how I tried to make a bong in my 8th grade art class. And to this day, when I think about it, I get a little tear in my eye about how it never came to be. So let me know if you liked that story, and let me know if you want more.